embezzlement.
With a budget deadline just hours away, frantic negotiations are underway for a new COVID relief bill. I'm Michael George in Wilmington, Delaware, with how close Congress is to a deal.
Mistletoe farmers are kissing sales goodbye as the COVID pandemic threatens their annual tradition.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Miami police arrest the Ottawa County Sheriff on a warrant for perjury and embezzlement. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the arrest of Ottawa County Sheriff Jeremy Floyd. Miami officers served Floyd at his Miami home around 9:30 this morning. We're told he surrendered without incident. Court records show Sheriff Floyd used a little over $1,100 from the county to purchase a plane ticket for his wife. We'll have more on Floyd's indictment tonight on the KOAM News at 5. Well, the FDA is expected to approve a second coronavirus vaccine for emergency use today. This one produced by Moderna. On Thursday, the vaccine won a near unanimous recommendation from an FDA advisory panel. Moderna would join Pfizer in the nation's war against COVID-19. Well, with Pfizer's vaccine, Mercy Hospital vaccinated around 150 more employees yesterday. But as KOAM's Zach Dodge reports, it's been a long road to make that happen.
There was a lot of excitement and newfound feelings of hope this morning as surgeons, pediatricians, and paramedics rolled up their sleeves for that first long-awaited dose. William Bolus, a paramedic and ER doctor, was the first today to get that dose.
No, it's kind of the first of the first, but I say it's a positive thing until proven otherwise.
Everyone that comes through the door is just, we see hope. We're, really ready.
Mercy is one of only 20 healthcare providers in Missouri to be part of the state's initial distribution, receiving around 1,900 doses directly from Pfizer just days after the FDA gave the vaccine emergency approval.
It's been weeks of planning that's taken place to really be able to bring this to fruition.
In preparation, the hospital had to rent an ultra-cold freezer capable of storing the vaccines that require sub-zero temps and arrive in a bed of dry ice.
When we do place it in our ultra cold freezer, we do have 6 months to be able to utilize that, but we're hoping to use it much sooner than that. Usually within 10 days is our plan.
Once they're ready to give it, they just have to worry about timing, since the vaccine is only good for a certain amount of time after it's thawed. Otherwise, though, it's a lot like a flu shot. So understanding the work that went into this moment just makes the occasion even more exciting.
There's been a lot of work effort up to this point, so being able to get that many of our coworkers here and vaccinated has been a blessing.
The hospital will receive their second shipment within a few weeks so they can give the second doses of the vaccine to those workers. Reporting in Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
More than 200 healthcare workers at Mercy have now received the initial dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Hospital says they haven't had any reports of serious adverse reactions. Well, another update in the race to fight the coronavirus. Johnson & Johnson says its initial late-stage trial for its vaccine candidate is fully enrolled with 45,000 participants. J&J predicts it will have data on its effectiveness by late January and is aiming to submit its application for emergency use by February.
It's windy.
And
you asked me how I wanted to start weather. You said during Zach Dodge's wonderful story for us right there, you said, Michael, how do you want to start weather?
And I was going to say we're getting a shot of warmer temperatures just in time for the weekend.
That's just because it's in the teleprompter. I was just going to tell you that it's windy outside. No, we are. We're already way above where we have been past couple of days, and actually above our daily high that we'd anticipate for the middle of December as we stand right now. And we've been able to do that even with the cloud cover that's kind of just been hanging over us. Get a peek of sunshine every now and then. From the Freeman Health System Sky Camera in Joplin, 52 degrees, but check out that wind that we're getting right now, 24 miles per hour, and that's not a gust. Those are sustained winds that we're looking at. 24 miles per hour. But at the same point in time, since it rolls in due south, we are seeing temperatures that have already pushed up into the high 40s for the majority, low 50s. But you'll also notice as it's crept in from the west, oh, guess what? The windiest is actually yet to come, especially if you live on the eastern portion of southwest Missouri. It's simply going to get blustier throughout the course of the afternoon. Now temperatures, I'd say we got about another 2 to 3 degrees to go, so mid 50s. And then overnight, well, guess what? The rain really isn't going to amount to much. It's number one, it's not going to start until late tonight. And we've got that thin line that stretches from the southwest up to the northeast. Everybody up to the north and to the west going to stay on the dry side. And it should be done by, say, mid-Saturday morning. Clear off after that, get a little sunshine on Saturday. Despite the fact that Saturday and Sunday are looking pretty cool, we've got another warming trend on our hands just in time for winter. Coming up here in just a little bit, Tanya, we'll go ahead and take a look at the remnants of what's left of the northeast storm, and also, too, some impressive gust numbers coming out of right here in the 4 states.
All right, a lot to talk about. Thanks, Michael. Congress needs to pass a spending bill today to keep the government open, but it's looking more and more likely lawmakers will pass a stopgap measure instead to give them more time as they negotiate a nearly $1 trillion package to help people and businesses impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. Michael George has the latest from Wilmington, Delaware.
Congress appears to be headed toward a weekend session as negotiations continue on the final details of a $900 billion COVID relief package.
Democratic leaders, Speaker Pelosi, Leader McCarthy, and I have been working around the clock for several days now. The talks remain productive. In fact, I'm even more optimistic now than I was last night.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is also working behind the scenes, urging his Republican colleagues not to challenge the presidential election results when Congress certifies President-elect Joe Biden's win next month. But incoming Senator Tommy Tuberville is hinting he plans to go against McConnell and challenge the results. President Trump called Tuberville a hero and said more Republicans should follow his lead. President-elect Biden spent the morning at church. He has no public events on his schedule as he marks the 48th anniversary of the car crash that killed his first wife, Nelia, and his daughter, Naomi.
One of the reasons that Joe was elected was because of his sense of empathy. And I think people understand that he's had a lot of tragedy and loss in our family.
Appearing on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Jill Biden and the president-elect also defended Hunter Biden, who's under investigation for his taxes.
I am not concerned about any accusations been made against him. It's used to get to me. I think it's kind of foul play, but look, it is what it is.
President Trump tweeted he has nothing to do with the investigation, but added he finds it sad to watch. Michael George, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
2 sources familiar with the investigation have told CBS the investigation began in 2018. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon.
Sharing a kiss under the mistletoe won't be so easy this year. I'm Tina Kraus with how COVID is threatening the holiday tradition.
And later, if you're looking for a change from the traditional holiday main dish, we've got a winner for you. We're making herb-stuffed pork loin in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. There was a bumper crop of mistletoe in the United Kingdom this year, but farmers are having to kiss sales goodbye as COVID threatens their ancient tradition. CBS's Tina Kraus reports from London.
Harvesting mistletoe is an annual tradition for British farmer Mark Adams.
So as we had a very sunny summer and late autumn, the berries are all pearl white and perfect.
But despite that, mistletoe sales in the UK are down as much as 75%.
Have you kissed under the mistletoe?
Oh yeah.
Will you be this year?
Maybe not.
With the mask on. Yeah, exactly. Tends to take the romance away from it.
Coronavirus has made kissing a health hazard, and with festive social gatherings banned, the mistletoe trade is taking a hit.
Lots of mistletoe goes for winter weddings, like my business would usually supply 200 to 300 weddings with mistletoe. This year it's just been decimated.
22. Crowds have packed the town of Worcester for a yearly mistletoe auction since Victorian times, but this year COVID called it off.
Well, it's rather sad, really. I've been doing it since 1977.
Sarah Sharkey is determined to keep the tradition going during the pandemic with mistletoe by post.
People have been sending them to weddings that they haven't been able to go to, and to grandparents and parents that they maybe haven't been able to see.
The show must go on.
Amir says he won't let COVID spoil his plans.
And I might propose to her under the mistletoe this year.
Sealing the deal with a kiss, even in 2020. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Well, kissing under the mistletoe is an ancient tradition, but its most current form likely dates back to Victorian servants who decreed a man could ask for a kiss from a woman who was standing under a mistletoe, and to refuse him was bad luck. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Your Christmas ham and turkey have some stiff competition this year. What's taking center stage? All I can tell you, it's coming up next.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Quite a windy Friday we've got on our hands here, but that is feeding us some warmer temperatures. It's actually not too bad out this afternoon. Hope you get a chance to get some of that fresh air as we head into what's actually going to be a very nice 4-state weekend as well. With that being said, we not only have wind advisories, but we've seen them expand massively throughout southeast Kansas for the afternoon hours. Earlier, it was just the sliver of northwest Kansas that the National Weather Service had issued those wind advisories for. Then about mid-morning, we saw that go all the way to the state line. Doesn't really matter where you may be, though, because the wind gusts have been around 35 to 40 miles an hour. The latest ones we picked up, how about this? How about a slew of 45s and 44s? That is just coming at you. Need to be very careful traveling east to west, especially with high-profile vehicles. Flip side of that, like I said, does feed us the temperatures that already have pushed us up into the low 50s and already eclipsing our average daily high for the 18th of December, which should be about 46 degrees. Thank goodness we are not hearkening back to 2016. That's just a little too cold for my blood. Partly cloudy skies. We do see a little pop of sunshine every now and then. You get out here further to the east where the cloud cover is heavier. It's really not going to budge. It's not going to be one of those where this is going to clear out. And that's because our barometer currently falling. This low pressure system hanging right here over northern Kansas is making its way toward us. Yesterday we had the high pressure right here in Oklahoma that gave us the blue sky, albeit the cooler temperatures, but that thing has now made its way east of the Mississippi. Now, even with that high pressure pushing all the precipitation of that winter storm out to the Atlantic, we had another one that dropped in for them right out of Canada. Back-to-back snowstorms that they've had, and once again, you have multiple troopers in multiple states telling everybody just stay off the roads. That's the best thing to do out there. For us, you can tell we cut a little swath there of warmth, and it's actually going to last just for one day. This system that we see out in the Colorado that's made its way over the Rockies really not going to have a whole lot of bearing on us. What we'll see is actually some Gulf moisture originate in Texas and Oklahoma and make its way toward us, but that's not going to happen until late tonight. So in the meantime, like I said, if you want to brave the wind, do it. Get out and get some fresh air because it's going to be perfectly delightful temperature-wise. Now, as we work into Friday night, here's what we've got. It'll come right here out of the southwest. Pretty good line. Now, we're not looking at anything substantial, maybe 1/4 of an inch. That's all we're looking at accumulation-wise, and everybody up to the north and to the west going to remain dry. The biggest rain is going to actually stay south of our highlighted counties and then push through. So really, about mid-Saturday morning, we'll be done with it and actually see some sunshine here for Saturday afternoon. Now, Saturday is going to be a little bit cooler because that wind's going to shift on us as this system rolls through, and it'll drop in from the north. And so Saturday will go about 40, 50. I don't know. I may be overshooting that just a little bit. But Sunday, more of the same. But then, Tanya, as we begin, we got to talk about the first day of winter here. I don't know why that thing just advances a day on me all the time. As we begin our first day of winter, the solstice being on the 21st, Monday, early in the morning, shortest day of the year daylight-wise. Look at that. We make it up to 60 degrees. Mm-hmm. And then Tuesday, of course, as our days begin to get longer, we make it all the way up to 65.
I like that. That is nice. Pleasant. All right. Thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Corporal John Henning in the U.S. Army. Henning hails from Hepler, Kansas. He served in Europe from 1941 to 1945 with the 36th Armed Infantry of the 3rd Division. To Corporal John Henning, we thank you, our 4-state hero. Well, today's recipe is so flavorful, your family will think you've given them another Christmas gift. Howard shows us how to make herb-stuffed pork loin in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
With Christmas just a little over a week away, now's the time to start thinking about what to serve. Should it be a traditional ham or turkey, or should you switch things up? If that sounds good to you, we've got a stuffed pork loin that's definitely holiday worthy. We start with a 3 to 4 pound boneless pork loin. Now, with the fat side up, we cut a slit down the center about 1.5 inches deep. And if you're wondering why the fat side goes up, it's because when it roasts, it'll melt and flavor our meat. We set that aside for a sec and mix together some olive oil, salt and pepper, onion powder, along with some minced fresh garlic, chopped fresh sage, and thyme. Now, we rub the roast with this, making sure we get into the opening that we just cut. Once it's coated with all that flavor, we stuff it with a box of quick cooking stuffing mix that we made according to the package instructions and roast it for about 20 minutes per pound. You could even prep this in advance and cook it right before dinner. And when you bring this to the table and slice it, everyone gets to taste one of the most flavorful pork roasts ever, along with a hearty helping of stuffing. I really do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our herb stuffed pork loin so you can give your family a Christmas gift that they'll really eat up. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a festive way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Here's a look at our 4 state market prices. What makes a Christmas movie great might just depend on your home state. Media outlet Comparitech analyzed Google Trends to calculate the most festive films across the U.S., from classics like It's a Wonderful Life to more modern picks. The original Home Alone was an overall hit. It was the most popular in 8 states, including Oklahoma. Now, Google Trends show the 1985 Disney film One Magic Christmas, which I've never heard of, for Kansas. In Missouri, the Polar Express ranked #1. And in Arkansas, viewers apparently enjoyed the Lifetime movie Christmas Harmony.
Lifetime, yes.
And yes, Michael, 3 states did pick Die Hard as their most popular holiday pick.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, wind advisory for this afternoon, and then tomorrow. Remember, it's going to be a little chilly. Don't worry about the rain. It won't affect anything. SEC championship game right here on CBS, and if you're looking for something else in the morning.
Hey, quickly, here's what's coming up at 5. I'll tell you one thing anyway. The pandemic has changed the holiday season for all of us, and caregivers are especially feeling that impact. What families can do to still make this time of year special. That's coming up at 5.